Have you ever wondered why people are so afraid of death? I've been thinking about this a lot lately because most of the people I know usually chalk up their fear of death to some fear of not existing or some empty void after death that's inescapable. But I don't think that's the whole reason. Just consider a thought experiment for me. Think of the afterlife in the Judeo-Christian sense, like you and Jesus and God and your family and your friends, and the afterlife for all eternity, like the greatest reunion of all time. For some people, this future is what gives life purpose. For Catholics, for instance, only accomplishing good deeds now will earn a spot in heaven later, meaning your actions matter beyond your lifetime. For others, though, eternity feels meaningless. If life just goes on forever and choices never run out, then what meaning is there for any one action or choice in the first place? Some cultures have even codified the idea of eternity as punishment in some of their most foundational stories. The myth of Sisyphus, for example, is a story of a clever Greek king who's condemned by the gods for eternity to roll a boulder up a mountain, only for it to fall back down to the bottom each time. Or there's more modern examples, like the short story The Library of Babel by Jorge Luis Borges, where an infinite library of every possible combination of letters actually drives men to madness. So if eternal bliss is some kind of perverted torture, and if everything just ending is some kind of damnation, then how do you win? Are we just screwed? I mean, maybe, but hold on before we answer that. Now, let me consider the opposite. Death as a kind of nothingness, or like a dreamless sleep. No consciousness, no experience, no pain. So here is the question I have for you. Why does that scare us? Because most people I know actually really enjoy that blank portion of sleep before dreams. It provides people a break from the regular, inevitable pains of living. So why then does death feel different? Maybe it's just permanence. Maybe unlike when you go to bed at night, the sleep of death never ends. Or maybe people are just really bad at understanding what nothingness is. After all, most people I know think of nothingness as a kind of black, bottomless void you can't escape from. But is that really nothingness, or is that just the imagination running wild? I think that people aren't really afraid of death. They're afraid of life. Think about it. The promise of death puts pressure on every single thing we do. If there's an end to everything, then everything we do in life has the utmost amount of importance. Every moment then has to be lived with the utmost amount of meaning, pleasure, and fulfillment, and every time we don't live in those ways, it's considered time wasted. All of us want our actions to mean something, and death constantly reminds us that they do. A lot. Death constantly begs the question of how to live and how to live well, and the only bad thing about asking those questions is that they are insanely difficult to answer. So we're all just living life as we try to figure out how to live it. We're all wasting time as we try to figure out how to not waste it. And that's pretty terrifying to me. Not the cold, hard, empty void that probably doesn't exist, or the nothingness we will probably all face, but the fact that life is fleeting and that every single moment represents one moment we have to live well. That's terrifying. But part of me is resistant to the idea that this has to be such a terrifying thing. Maybe the act of realization in the first place makes the fear of death much less terrifying. Realizing that death can give life very high stakes can actually make people more aware and attentive of the world around them. It can give somebody buried in the distractions and pains of their life a reason to direct their energies towards more fruitful activities, which might bring down those stakes just a little bit lower. Maybe by being intentional about our lives, by thinking about and doing what enriches us, we can make those stakes less scary. Maybe death isn't a kind of curse or a damnation on earth, or even like a fate you can't outrun, or at least it doesn't have to be. Maybe what it's more like is some kind of weird compass that teaches you how to live a better life if only you were to look at it once in a while. And that, if there ever was one, is a beautiful kind of terror. Thanks for watching.